I'll do it live. Hey,
There.
everybody.
There we go.
It's on. We're recording. It's 2020. Other than that, who knows? It could be 3 in the morning. It could be 5 in the afternoon. I couldn't tell you. It's another episode of the Hardcore Smarks. It's your favorite podcast where a group of hardcore Smarks talk about their obsessions. I'm your host, Zachary, and with me, as always, is Stretch, J-Bone, and Wally5. Today, we're going to be talking about some of our favorite wrestling promos. We're just going to jump right in. Again, I said favorite, not best. We're not really ranking these. This is just kind of casual discussion about some of our favorites.
We love promos.
We absolutely love promos.
This was fun. Doing the research for this particular one was fun. Very fun.
It's always good to go back and, well, for me, laugh. My promos tend to be a bit more on the funny side, except for my favorite. But
it also is hard to not. I told Zach this the other day. It's very hard to not go down the rabbit hole with the Rock promos. Once you start watching one, you're like, okay, I can watch this one. I got time to watch this one.
Yeah.
It's really hard to not go down that rabbit hole.
So because of that, we mentioned we were going to try to only pick roughly one Rock one each. We tried to, I mean, if you pick two, whatever, I'm not going to come after you, but I'm sure we will have an episode where we talk about The Rock, and a good portion of that show will be talking about his promos. So
yes.
all the promos we might miss will get covered in due time. Wally, do you want us to talk about one of your favorite promos?
Yes. I will start with the Festival of Friendship. Is that on anybody else's list?
Honorable mention. I love and at the same time hate this one.
It broke me and Zach's heart when we were watching it because that ended the best 6 months in wrestling in the last decade.
That's why I hate it.
But it was one of the all-time greatest guys Jericho's one of the all-time greats, and Owens is one of the current guys. So you had two of the best guys on the mic just doing everything ridiculous that they could. I mean, that painting was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I want that framed on my wall.
You got some space back there, I see. So
yeah, I need to fill up some space.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed, and I knew it was coming though, so that's why I think it was easier to digest because I knew it was coming, and the whole way they ended it with the list of KO, that was like perfect, like ending to like that. It was like perfect. That everything about they might have went on a little long, but they needed that. They probably were given 20 minutes and they had to go out and do a 20-minute promo. So
now, am I wrong in remembering? Wasn't there a Gilbert cameo during this festival?
There was, and Owens actually got mad at Jericho because he thought it was actually going to be Goldberg.
Yep.
So what about you, Zach?
I'm actually going to go with, this might be the most recent promo on anyone's list. For me, it's sticking with Jericho, but it's Jericho versus Orange Cassidy in their debate. The best debate of 2020, not to date this podcast.
Well, it was supposedly better than the debate that happened recently in the real election world. So
that one was entertaining in its own right.
That was almost like a wrestling promo in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I was going to say Jerry Springer show. But.
Yeah. But, I mean, Jericho, of course, as always, was just fantastic on that. Just, stupid idiot over here. He doesn't know anything. He's not going to answer any of these questions. And then for Orange Cassidy to, bust out his Rain Man moment and then to talk about how much he actually can care about something. It was just in the moment, it was a perfect promo for that storyline, which has gone a little bit too long. But the promo itself remains kind of untouched, in my opinion. And of course, I love it so much I actually recreated on this podcast in an earlier episode. So.
And for a lot of people too, it was like the most like intensity they've ever seen out of Orange, like promo wise. Like we've seen him, bust out some crazy shit in the ring, but a lot of people, it was the first time they'd seen him actually show some emotion in his voice.
Yep.
Jay.
I'm going to go with back in 1998 when DX made fun of the Nation
Friends. Or
Oh boy.
First of all, they wouldn't be able to do that.
Actually, just
nowadays.
showed Zach that promo recently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they wouldn't get away with doing that promo nowadays with the blackface and all that stuff. So, I thought that was hilarious. With Triple H acting like The Rock and X-Pac is Mizark, and
Did we lose Wally there?
Oh, no, there we go.
Oh, there we go. He's back. All right. And keep going.
I guess I froze.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Road Dogg is D'Lo. That was I thought that was a hilarious segment.
It is. Triple H was fabulous as the Croc.
Yeah.
Sparks, what you got?
I'll start off. I mean, we were just talking about him, and I'll go ahead and throw one out there. The Rock promo that I had, sort of not really as well known as some of his other ones, but I went with, I grew up watching a lot of 04, 05 Raw. I went with when he got kicked out of Raw on June 21st, 2004. He had a live mic in his hands, and he was being walked out by some security guards of course, in yellow shirts. And he's just mouthing off the entire time as he's leaving the arena. And he's like, Eric Bischoff's on the stage, and he's like, "What are you sending the Rock out with a bunch of Oompa Loompas?" Like this is how you. And it was in Miami too. It was in his hometown. So he's like, "This is how you send out the Rock in his hometown." He's like, "No wonder WCW went out of business." Like the entire time he's just walking out of the arena, he has a live mic, and I'm sure they just gave him free will to say anything he wanted. So, a couple highlights: he passes when he gets past Gorilla, he like stops because Trish Stratus and Tyson Tomko are there. And he's like, "Oh, hey, baby, like, hey, no, I got to leave. Don't look at the people's package." And then he looks at Tomko. He goes, "Hey, you too." He's like, "Oh, no, it's okay. No, it's fine. I love your show. Queer Eye for the Straight Guy." Yeah. And he makes it a little bit more backstage. And once he gets out of Gorilla, he walks past another security guard who, like, starts walking with the pack. And it's, like, a taller dude in white and, like, a white shirt instead of a yellow shirt. And he goes, "Oh, look at this. Now we're in white." He goes, "Oh, and you're a tall one." He goes, "Oh, what are you there, daddy?" And eventually, it's just everybody he passes, he just clowns. Like, it's like second nature to him. He passes Hurricane and Rosie, and of course Hamburger and the Grimace, like, calls him that. He passes Coach and clowns him. You know, like, it's just classic. Like, it's just him. They knew they could just give him a mic and say, like, "Do whatever you want, and you'll be entertaining."
It's perfect.
For another one, I went with, and this one I watched again today. I went with the Cena Roman Reigns contract signing when they both were shooting straight with each other.
That was an honorable mention for me.
That Roman kind of gets, he's like, "You're a fake bitch,"
and then he's like, and fake ass.
You're a part-time fake bitch. And then Cena fucking annihilates him after that. Cena's like, or like during Roman's promo, he forgets what he's supposed to say. And Cena's like, "I'll wait."
Yeah.
Take your time. Yeah. I'll wait. And Cena's like, "This is the best promo you've cut in 5 years." And Cena basically tells him at the end, "I'm here because you can't do your job." Like, He's like, "I'm better as a part-timer than you are as a full-timer."
Yeah.
So and the crowd was actually cheering for Cena. So, this was, not that long ago. And the crowd was, yesing Cena and cheering for Cena because he tore Roman apart.
Next I got Jericho again. I'm going to do his debut onto, at the time, was WWF in 99. Just so good. He comes out, he just basically shits on everything and everyone. And how, I don't know if he agreed to it or just how it was booked, but either way, the ball's on him to come out to The Rock, for your debut, and to cut a promo in front of The Rock while he's just standing there listening. I mean, The Rock had to have
okayed that. There's no way that they just said, "Oh, we're going to send you out with," that clearly was done intentionally because they knew that was the perfect person to put Jericho with opening night. So, I mean, his entrance is awesome in that promo. Nobody knew who. I mean, I kind of knew who it was, but his music was. I mean, we touched on his music was fucking sweet. So, when he came out with his sweet hair, and just, and he got, "It doesn't matter" by The Rock. When you get "It doesn't matter" by The Rock.
What was your name again? I told you it doesn't matter.
Go ahead, Jay. What's next for you?
I'm going to go with the Dudleys on Heatwave.
Yeah! That's on my list, too, of course. That's actually my number one.
I gave that an honorable mention.
Yeah, this has to be probably one of the most filthy, derogatory promos
it is probably the filthiest, most derogatory heel promo in wrestling history.
Definitely doesn't stand up to today's PC standards.
For sure, it does not. It was actually on several of the lists I looked at that went past 10. This promo was on there. So people know. Like, the best part, Jay, is when he's telling the mother that she taught her daughter how to suck dick. That's the best part for me. So.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few of them on there that I really like, but I think that one sticks out the most.
Yeah, just such
One
a
part's
brutal
un-PC.
promotion.
Yeah, one part's very un-PC for Zachary. So.
Yeah, we'll just skip past that.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be mentioned.
then
Let's move on.
You get the Joel Gertner at the end to finish it off as, the perfect touch to it. So.
Stretchy.
I went with actually another one involving the Dudleys. This time they pretty much didn't do any talking, and that's when Enzo and Cass debuted on the main roster, and Enzo pretty much dressed them down.
All right.
But he had, oh God, what was it? My favorite line was,
that was a great debut, by the way. It was
Devon was like looking at him all funny, and he's like, "Hey, Devon," he's like, "I'll connect for that dome piece and put that lazy eye right back to work."
That was
like
great debut by Enzo and Cass.
Yeah, no, Enzo like just he wrote all of his own stuff, like all of his own promos, his own rhymes, raps, whatever you want to call it. He freestyled it pretty much, but he had it all up here, like in his head. So like you could tell he was just loving every minute of it. Like I wrote this, I did my research on these guys, and I'm gonna eviscerate them on national television, and it was just a masterpiece.
Are they still wrestling independent, or are they just out of wrestling, or does anyone know? Or
Big Cass had a seizure at like a live event for some indie company. Like I think it was over a year ago, but I don't recall hearing anything of him wrestling since. And Enzo has been doing like an indie booking here and there, but he's
popped up. I think he popped up at the Thunderdome once too.
Yeah, and he was at Survivor Series last year when he like tried to make a scene or whatever, and got thrown out. So they're having pop-ups here and there, but nothing like, obviously they're not teaming together anymore, I don't think, which sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, Zach. Is Brett asleep?
No, we can do it.
So my next choice is one I just watched today just to get fresh, the Woo Off, which is a fabulous, fabulous promo. Woo! 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 Woo!
Damn it, I left my jacket in there. I would have elbow dropped it in the other room.
I don't even know how much of that was scripted. I feel like it wasn't. I feel like they just went out and winged it.
That
and
felt
it
really
was
natural.
Gold.
Mm-hmm.
I still like when Flair's like, oldest ride, longest line.
Yep.
Yeah. With pelvic thrusts.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll even make this fat girl cry.
Yeah.
I forgot that Lethal was like, that group in the ring, it looks like the Four Horsemen dropped a big turd in the ring or whatever. Like, that was fabulous.
Well, and like the fact that Lethal sounded exactly like his voice. Like,
yep.
That promo is, if you, any of us on here, if I need a laugh, I'm like, I'm going to go watch the Woo Off because I need a 7-minute laugh, and because I still laugh. And seeing AJ Styles and Kazarian and Bobby Roode, like, all in the ring for that is hilarious, too. Seeing very young versions of especially Kazarian.
They're trying so hard to not like corpse and to like laugh it up themselves.
Yeah. Just
keep a straight face.
Just look at Flair, like towards the end, he's out of breath. Like his
veins
are bulging. He's about to pass out. Yeah, it's like, are you out right now, buddy? Like, breathe for a second.
Did anybody else have that in their 5 or?
Yes. That was honorable mention for me.
Yep. I had that in my 5.
That promo is gold.
Yep.
That might be, besides the Dudley's promo, that might be the best like non-WWE promo like ever. Like if you submit that or the Dudley's one for me probably. So go ahead, Zach.
Let's go ahead. I'll go over to my rock one. I picked the rock concert in Sacramento. Just it keeps going.
So did Jay, right?
It's
so you guys can both.
For me, it's just the shocking length of it almost, and how it doesn't get old. You're not just kind of like, okay, let's wrap this up. You're just like, let's just keep this going forever. Can we do this all night long?
What's the best part, Jay? Say it. What's the best part?
Well, I was a Sacramento Kings fan at the time, and he made the comment about how they're going to lose to the Lakers in May.
Yep.
It was great too because not only did he was making fun of the city of Sacramento, but he also did a song about Stone Cold being a redneck and stuff, and that was funny too.
Mhm.
And like you said, he went on for like 8 minutes where he just went on about different things, and he did like 4 songs. And Waller was just like marking out in the announcing. He was going nuts. Just a great promo.
Just a side note, me and Zach we watched the Rock concert where he was with Cena in Cleveland. That one, the Cena battle rap and the Rock concert, that's when he said Cena has lady parts. Both of those promos were awesome. Like the Cena one was great, and then the Rock killed him when he did. That was the Rock concert number 3, I believe. So
I had that in my notes. So yeah, I believe. Yep, I have it as number 3. That could be wrong because maybe the video was labeled incorrectly.
They got the points with the Rock, and this was the last. They would just send him out and say, piss the crowd off. So here's a mic, go piss the crowd off. So we will talk about the Toronto one before this is over. So I think Jay's next.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Shawn Michaels. I forget what year, if it was like 2003 or 2004, when he was on back in Montreal on Raw.
Oh, yeah. Who's your daddy?
I think that was 04 or 05, maybe.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just hilarious. I mean, that was pretty much up there with a lot of boos, like the Elias Owens thing in Seattle.
Yeah.
And, he was ripping on Canada, ripping on Bret Hart, and then they played Bret Hart's music like he was going to come down to the ring, and all the fans were going nuts. And, I thought that was hilarious.
Did he do something with the Canadian flag during that one or not?
No.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
It was definitely 2005 because he was ripping on Hulk Hogan during that promo too.
Yes.
And they fought at SummerSlam that year.
Yeah. Okay.
That one was really good. I actually had that down as one of my best heel promos. So
Yeah,
that one's really good.
That was on my list too.
Stretch?
I'll get to another sort of concert, sort of like Zach was talking about. I'll go with Elias and Kevin Owens in Seattle.
Yes.
Those two together. I mean, I'm a fan of both of them. I've liked Elias for a long time just because he was that guy also for the longest time where they just sent him out there and said, hey, sing a song about this city, shit on their sports team, shit on the crowd, and just get some heat.
Yep.
And he did that for the longest time. Like, he would never wrestle. And then we come to find out, like, he's actually pretty decent in the ring. But then you put him with KO, and they actually KO doesn't really sing that much, but they have a sort of mini concert together, and they just shit on the Supersonics, like the city of Seattle, like the fans. Like, it was gold, like modern concert gold.
Yeah, that was in my top 5 as well.
I will do my Rock promo. I'm going with the Thomas Jefferson sucker with Booker T. That promo is great from start to finish. If you log on to YouTube and stuff sometimes, usually you only see the second part. There's also a first part where Jericho is ripping on Stephanie and her increased breast size. With pictures. So that part gets lost in the shuffle sometimes because it's like a 20-minute promo, I think, when you add the pieces together. So they like chop it into pieces. So usually when you find part 2, that's when the beep and the Rock's in the ring, and he asks Booker T what 2 + 2 is. And I know that. Thomas Jefferson, sucker. Yep. And Booker T is playing that part to the T. Like, let's give some credit to Booker T. He's in the ring and he looks very pissed off, which I will do a little bit of the promo for you guys right now. His hair coincidentally looked like Whoopi, which led to Booker T, hair done by Whoopi. Shane McMahon, still a pussy. Which then led to the ultimate line from The Rock in that promo, which was Booker and Shane, the punk-ass sucker, and the silver spoon motherfucker. Yep. So The Rock is still the only person on WWE television, I believe, to use that exact word and get beeped out in a promo.
And probably also not get fined.
And didn't get in trouble for it. They probably said, oh, shit. Oh, well, we gave him a live mic. Oh, well.
Yep.
Zach?
All right, I'm going to talk about my favorite one. It's going to be the Hard Times promo from Dusty Rhodes, 1985.
If you will.
If you will. Just the I have just a couple lines from it because it's just so good. Just like, there is no honor among thieves in the first place. He put hard times on Dusty Rhodes and his family. You don't know what hard times are, daddy. Like, just most of the time when I like a promo, I'm not looking for emotional engagement in any way. I kind of want to laugh, but with this one, it remains shockingly it still holds. You could almost just replace Flair with a certain president right now, and in a lot of ways it holds water still. It's just start to finish. If I need to get pumped up, I could listen to this promo and I'm ready to go. It's just kind of always in my rotation of if I needed to get just picked up by something or get ready for an interview or anything like that. It's this is always in the back of my mind.
I was reading about that one too, and he truly did inspire the people of that generation. Apparently after that promo, people would come up to him, not even when he was in a wrestling ring or whatever, come up to him in the streets and be like, oh my God, thank you so much for all you've represented our working class, people so well. When it has that much of a reach, it's impressive.
Well, yeah, speaking of reach, he's even I'm reaching out to you, reach out to me.
Yeah.
He's a Tony Robbins of wrestling.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to. I'm that guy. I watched that one today, and it's lost its luster for me. And Dusty Rhodes is one of my favorite wrestlers from back then, and I don't know. I don't even know if that's in my top 10 anymore.
No.
So
I took it out, man. I agree with you. I had it in there, and I watched it again.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing it's on Zach's favorites list and not yours.
No,
it's not going
fine.
anywhere.
Like I said, I'm not. There's not right and wrong in this.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that it's kind of lost its luster for me a little bit. So like I said, and he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. So if I'm saying this about, and I think he's one of the best guys on the mic too, I don't know if that one would be in my top 10, maybe somewhere between 10 and 15 at this point. So I think 10 years ago, maybe. So I think Jay's next.
Okay. I went with this one. It's kind of weird because I never liked the guy, but I think it was back in 2013, Mark Henry, when he fake retired with John Cena out there. And,
the salmon-colored jacket.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Cena gives him the belt because he never had the heavyweight title, and Mark Henry turns on him and power slams him, and I thought that was kind of neat.
They actually had a really good match at Money in the Bank then. I was at that Money in the Bank pay-per-view, so.
And he still never won the WWE title.
That's a good one. I saw that on a lot of lists, too. So, Eli.
Let's get it out of the way. It's probably on a bunch of y'all's lists or somewhere in an honorable mention. The CM Punk pipe bomb.
That's an honorable mention for me.
Yeah, I mean, he was a generational talent on the mic and in the ring. And whether it was a work completely, whether it was a shoot completely, who's, ever really going to know. But he went out there and got a lot of people who had sort of lapsed in being a fan in pro wrestling interested in pro wrestling again, because news outlets that don't even that aren't solely based on wrestling were covering this and saying oh, here's what this superstar said about his employer on live television. And it captivated people in a way to get them back in the product. And the way that, he references New Japan, he references Ring of Honor, he says Colt Cabana's name live on television. And he says, I don't remember word for word, but he says, I like to keep telling myself that things will get better when Vince McMahon dies, but then the company will just be taken over by his idiot daughter and doofus son-in-law.
Yeah.
And then they cut his mic, which I'm sure was part of the work. But he went on for a good, I think it was 9 or 10 minutes just with a mic, just letting shit fly. And for me, it did get me really interested in his work. I wasn't really a fan of his before until I saw that promo. So.
That's another one that's lost its luster for me. So.
Yeah, I put 2 words next to it. I put game changer.
So
I thought it was at the time.
That one's lost its luster for me over time too. I don't like that he calls Triple H a doofus. I don't care about him shitting on Stephanie, but at that point I didn't really think Triple H was it I want Triple H to get the company. So I think he said something about The Rock during it too, which I didn't also particularly like. I didn't like the pot shot at The Rock either. So.
And the entire time he was wearing a Stone Cold shirt too.
Speaking of Stone Cold, that actually is my favorite promo of all time, the Austin 316 promo. Even though I don't like him, that is the greatest promo of all time, in my opinion. That guy came up with that on the fly and changed. That's the best-selling T-shirt in wrestling history.
Austin 316.
Yep.
Says, I just whooped your ass. And that promo's not even long. It's like 2.5 minutes. And Jake, thank God, Jake the Snake was a Bible thumper. Because if Jake the Snake wasn't a Bible thumper, we would have never got that promo. And like I said, I don't even like Stone Cold, but that promo, like every time I watch it, I still get excited to hear him say that line.
I got all of my. I'll be on honorable mentions if I.
That's fine.
Okay.
I kind of had a tie, so Austin was like tied with one. So
I got a few more if somebody needs me to go.
Go ahead. We can talk about some honorable mentions now. Go ahead.
Another one that was sort of recent. I mean, I kind of made it known that my list would probably be more so recent stuff just because, it's fresh in my mind and I enjoyed a lot of it. The Miz on Talking Smack in like 2016 or 2017 when Renee Young and Daniel Bryan were hosting. Daniel Bryan hadn't come back to the ring yet. And Renee Young was like questioning the Miz's character as an IC champion and saying like, oh, well, you're just a coward. You hide behind your wife and like do all these underhanded things to win. And the Miz, just being the Miz, ultimate heel, gets in the face of Renee and like looks straight down the camera afterwards, just, running down Daniel Bryan, how he's a coward for not trying to come back to the ring and all of this. And it eventually was like what got fans interested in a feud between them down the road when Daniel Bryan came back. But like just the Miz, how intense he is with his delivery, like, and he'd come a long way. When he debuted in like 05, 04, he was terrible. He had to look at a phone number on his hand for the Diva search. Like
he was in the top 10 worst promos of all time for that one.
Yeah, so he went from that to one of my favorites of all time, where he's on Talking Smack, like literally he's looking down the camera lens and like
just
the
right down the
intensity
barrel
in his eyes. Yeah,
Well, that was one of those where like I don't think I watched that one live. I was watching clips of it and I'm like, is this kind of real on this one? Like, because he's just coming off so intense and almost like so in the moment.
And it got to the point where, I mean, again, it was probably part of a work, but it got so intense, like he was, running down Daniel Bryan so much that Daniel Bryan actually leaves the set, like, because of all the things the Miz is saying about him and like talking about his family and, oh, you're a coward for, retiring and all that.
I have another Jericho one. The one where he does the list with Dean Malenko of the 1,004 holds. He's like sitting in the ring with the computer paper. And he's like, number 1, armbar. And like every so often it's armbar again. So he gets to like 100 and it's armbar. And there's one that's like a Saskatchewan sandwich. Like that's like Jericho, like old WCW, like douchebag, cocky, jackass Jericho doing that promo. Plus, me and Jay don't like Malenko either. So,
Yeah.
So I have a couple honorable mentions left. Most of mine got talked about. One of mine, it's just more of a whole package of them, but the Breezango Fashion Files.
Yes. Day one is H.
It is H. Well, never. I don't understand it. Just like the Twin Peaks stuff, the X-Files stuff. In an interview, Breeze basically just said that the two of them were just given free reign. They were, here's a camera crew, do what you want to do every week. And they just ran it as long as they were allowed to. And it was always fantastic.
Yeah.
what else you got, Jay? I got one or two more. What else you got, Jay?
This one I sent to you earlier, the Paul Heyman one from 2001 Raw, where he calls out Vince McMahon and he pretty much, blames him for, character assassination. And that's when he's kind of blaming Vince for not using guys right and stuff. And that's when Taz was announcing. And he's like, you have one of the greatest wrestlers now just sitting there being a fat slob or something. And then Taz comes in the ring and chokes him out. And it was a pretty good promo or shoot. Paul Heyman was
That's a good. I think I'm a little bit more. I think I like the one night stand one with Heyman a little bit better than that one, just because that's when he's like, JBL, the only reason you got the title is because Triple H doesn't want to work Tuesday nights.
Yeah, that was a good one too. I forgot about that
Heyman, yeah, that Heyman one. Pretty much anyone we find with Heyman is going to be gold. So
I got a good one too that'll appeal to you, Jay. It was on my honorable mentions, pretty high on my honorable mentions actually, and that's when Shane Douglas threw the NWA title on the ground and said, "You can kiss my ass" to all the legends like Harley Race and everybody who had held it before him, and how he declared, he's the ECW World Champion and he doesn't want to give a crap about the NWA title belt. I felt like that was like a whole started like the counterculture movement because they were still Eastern Championship Wrestling at that time. So that started like the whole I don't give a fuck mentality of that company.
Yeah. He's one of the first people to ever do that too, take the belt and throw it, disrespect it like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The 10 pounds of gold.
I also, the night Hulk Hogan turned heel and went with the NWO, that one is, once again, I don't really like Hulk Hogan, but that night changed wrestling forever. So, and the fans throwing all the shit in the ring.
Yeah, to stand there with the garbage being tossed.
When he's like, all this garbage in the ring represents all you fans out there, and you guys can go stick it.
Yeah.
that might be. I think that's the best Hulk Hogan promo ever, in my opinion. So he's fat. It sucks on the network when you watch it now because they cut out the guy jumping in the ring and Scott Hall beating the guy up. Because me and Zach were watching it the other day. I'm like waiting for the guy to jump in the ring, and I'm like, guess that doesn't happen on here anymore. They edited that out.
This is one I didn't research at all, so I don't remember when it was from. But how about Roman not talking for 10 minutes? Just
this is my yard.
The night after WrestleMania 33
when he beat the Undertaker.
Yeah,
and they just boo him for
like
a solid 10 minutes.
Yes, and he
doesn't
just
say a
stands
word.
there smirking the whole time. It's like the most powerful promo without actually saying a single word. Pretty good.
Right.
The only one I have, I'll just mention real quick, because it's still ongoing. But any of the Gargano power couple,
yeah, they're
anytime it pops on, I'm there for it.
Well, we can talk about the most recent one now too, where he's like, "Oh, well, too bad about Tegan. She broke my TV. You tore her ACL. Even Stevens."
That was really good.
I also have The Rock in Toronto because that's probably the second best heel promo I've ever seen because they literally just gave him a mic and said, "Go out there and piss the Canadian people off," and it didn't take him long. Yay! Yay! He said Toronto on television. Yay! We also got Mother Canuckers from that. The Maple Leafs suck. And The Rock was the first person to take sing-along privileges away from the crowd. So,
yes.
And they were booing him when he fought Hogan. So he's like, no. You are not allowed to do that anymore. You booed The Rock, so you lost the privilege to sing along with The Rock. That is gold. When they send a guy out there to do with it what he did that night, and he cuts arguably the best heel promo of all time, and I'm sure none of it was planned. Once again, he just went out there with a live mic and shit on the Canadian people, which I always get excited when anybody shits on the Canadian people. So that's what they get for booing The Rock and cheering Hogan.
Well, that's what I mean. These wrestling fans are idiots. They'll boo the Rock when he comes out, whatever, but then they'll participate in his, his quotes and all that stuff. It's like, make up your mind, you idiots.
You stupid idiots.
You guys, anybody else got any more?
I'm tapped out.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I did show Zach this one too. We watched the Big Show John Cena battle rap.
I forgot. Yep, that's actually a really good one.
That one is. Big Show plays along with everything. So, when he says he has, stinky pits, he, smells his pits, and he's, smelling his breath. And when he's like, you can't even see your own penis.
I'll throw another one in there. Kurt Angle, when he was feuding with Shawn Michaels, and he brought Sherry out and sang, "I'm the sexy Kurt."
Yes. That one was good. That one was good. I also watched – I wanted to watch a female promo. So I did watch the one where AJ Lee shit on all the divas. That one was great, too, when she was making fun of the Total Diva show because, I hate all of them. So, and she shit on all of them. It was great. She's like, I'm better than that show. I'm not going to be on that crap. So that was the only woman one I found. I probably could have looked for some Charlotte ones, but the AJ Lee one was on a lot of lists of top 15 and 20. So
Yeah, I wanted to check out more Kurt Angle stuff, but I didn't have enough time because I know he had some good stuff.
Yeah, go find the Brock one that me and Zach watched, where they're like drinking milk and doing sit-up or push-ups. That one's even Brock is funny in that one.
Brock was actually funny, but also showing a ton of personality, which was weird.
Or Kurt and when he had like right after he debuted shortly in like 01, 02, he did some stuff with Stone Cold that was really funny.
Hat.
Yeah, Jimmy Crackcorn, I don't care. Jimmy Crackcorn.
Well, Wally, do you want to crack open a case of Haterade real quick and talk about maybe some of those worst promos that you were watching?
Yes. The Shockmaster, surprisingly, was on the top of almost every list. There's a shocker. There's a shocker. The Shockmaster was on there. There's another one. There's one with Sid Justice. Oh my God, Sid Vicious, whatever.
Oh, we're live, pal.
Yeah, he's
Do it
making
over.
fun.
We're live, pal.
He's making fun of Kevin Nash, and he's like, "Oh, you're half the size of me," and he's like, "I have half the brain that you do."
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was a different promo that I'm referring to, but it was still Sid. He's like Mean Gene's interviewing him, and he's like so intense, and he's like stops. He's like, all right, let's just redo that. And Mean Gene's just like, oh, we're live, pal. Like it's like, oh, another one that I meant to mention on. It could be a best or a worst promo. Scott Steiner and TNA with his Steiner math.
I was gonna say no Papa Pump.
That's a worst promo, that's a great promo because it's terrible. It's a great promo because it's terrible.
And that's why it's the best one.
I would put that one in the bottom 10, not the
purely for the fact, not alone that his math was insanely wrong, but he goes at the end, he's like, at Hard Justice, Senior Joe, your ass is gonna get beat. Like he called Samoa Joe Senior Joe, like, and Samoa Joe's not even Hispanic.
I also think he thought his math was correct too.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. And you take Kurt Angle's 33 1/3, and you add that to my 33 1/3 plus my 25% chance.
I have a 125% chance of winning. I like the Miz. Like I said, the Miz was on there for reading off his hand the first time he was on TV. That was bad. So as far as the Miz has climbed from that promo, because that promo was horrendous. So I'm trying to remember that those are the ones I generally saw. So the Sid one was really funny. I thought the Sid one was really funny because I had not remembered that Sid one. That one was amusing to me because he's terrible on the mic. So him screwing up like that was like normal for him. So the fact that he had another one apparently where he's like, let's do that over.
Yeah.
Sid.
I urge you to look it up. It's great. Because Mean Gene is so stone cold. He's like, oh, we're live, pal.
I'll check that one out.
I think we're good, Zach. That was good. That was good promo conversation.
I had fun there. So let's move on. We're going to go to the scenario of the week. As always, the rules are the same. No repeated answers. No discussion amongst yourselves. Let's get into it. Our championship was all over the place, but we're getting it to J-Bone. And the scenario this week is, so the president of wrestling was reminded that one time WWE took their wrestlers and they reenacted a whole bunch of scenes from movies. Now he wants to do an updated version where you'll be bringing in some actors to recreate some promos. Time machines in this scenario are allowed. So I want for you to pick the actor or celebrity and then which promo it's going to be. So again, we're not necessarily looking for like a perfect, like this, like I'll find the perfect person to play Dusty Rhodes. It's like, it could be their take on it. The other rule was no Morgan Freeman. So if you picked Morgan Freeman, I'm going to throw you out of the conversation.
And no Rock either.
Well,
you can't pick the Rock.
Yeah, because the Rock is up. He's going to jump. So, all right, J-Bone, what do you got?
I went with Chris Farley. Just seeing him act and stuff, his energy level and his sense of humor, I think he'd make the great promos where, he can be serious, but he can be funny. He did one skit on Saturday Night Live where he was the Storm El Nino.
Hey, El Nino, that's Spanish for
El Nino. And it was almost like a wrestling promo, the way he kind of talked and stuff. So
it was a wrestling promo.
So,
what promo in particular would he be doing? What's that? What promo in particular would you have him do?
One in particular.
All right, we'll come back to you on that one there, J-Bone.
Yeah, give that to me.
Wally, what do you got?
I'm going to reenact the Festival of Friendship, and I'm going to pick Ryan Reynolds because he's Canadian to play Chris Jericho,
Okay.
and he's a snarky jackass. And I'm going to pick Danny McBride to play Kevin Owens because he's a fat, snarky jackass.
I like it.
So that's my. That's
All right.
I don't know what else I need to say. So
I like that
I
one.
went Canadian. I went snarky. I was looking for snarky Canadian and snarky fat.
Oh, you did good. That's some solid choices. Like even if if they were going to make a movie about it, like I could actually see Ryan Reynolds playing a Jericho type. Like Danny McBride, sure, he's already kind of done the sports parody thing, so that's pretty easy with Eastbound and Down and all that. But I like it.
That one was all my own, guys.
Oh,
No help
yep.
from the wife. 100% my own. I came up with this one on my own.
Perfect. Stretch.
So the promo in question will be reenacted. I'm going with Enzo Amore when he was cruiserweight champion. All of the cruiserweights were surrounding the ring on the apron,
Mm-hmm.
and he went around one by one and roasted them individually. So the person that I would choose to reenact that would be Mr. Steve Carell, but Steve Carell as Michael Scott from The Office. So he'd go around and be like his own boom roasted moments. He'd go around and be like
roasted.
He'd be like Akira Tozawa. You had one championship reign that lasted 6 days, and now you play a racial stereotype. Boom, roasted.
Yep.
So he'd go around the ring and just do all of that. Tony Nese, you are.
It's about your abs.
Yeah, I mean, Enzo said, you have more abs than brain cells. That was the best one right there.
Yeah.
But Michael Scott would just add his own flair to it, and they'd
Mm-hmm.
just be so stupid but so funny at the same time.
That's really good. Plus, that dives into my love of The Office. J-Bone, what promo would Chris Farley be reenacting?
I don't know if it really matters. I'll go with Hulk Hogan.
Chris Farley reenacting Hulk Hogan.
I'm gonna beat you in a van down by the river.
I think I would have had Chris Farley do the Dusty Rhodes one.
See, that's actually my answer. Well, not Chris Farley. I would have had Johnny Cash do the Hard Times promo. And spoken word. Yep, exactly. Anyone want to badmouth anybody?
Nah, I don't do that.
I know you don't. That's I'm asking. Mainly Stretched. Would you like to badmouth any of your opponents?
Well, Mr. Chris Farley didn't have a specific promo name for him. He just said a Hulk Hogan one. And Wally just gave me two names. He didn't tell me how the promo would go. He just said it would be reenacted verbatim.
No, that Zach said that we didn't have to say how the promo went. So all he said we had to do was say who we were picking in the promo. He didn't really say I had to go in any more detail than that.
You had a good idea. You could have ran with it. You could have added some flair to it.
I would want them to do the same exact promo exactly as it was done. I would want to see them reenact it. They don't need to change it.
Okay. When they remake a movie, would you rather the new actors do the exact same lines word for word, or would you rather it have its own flair to it?
One's 2 hours and one's 10 minutes. So that's
okay. But it's the same premise. Different. It's completely a performance. Different.
I picked those two guys because I want them to reenact those two parts like the way it was done. Just like when me and my friends did the Jericho Cena promo, we basically reenacted it line for line because I wanted it to be that promo reenacted.
Or like if somebody covers a song, do you want them to sing it exactly the way the first person sang it?
That depends on the song and the situation. So
Jay's leaning back, enjoying.
I'm sitting back. I won the last two, man, so I'm sitting pretty.
Yeah, Jay's like, I lost this one. I'm okay. He's like, I just want to see the fireworks. I think Stretch is taking it this one. Steve Carell didn't have it. You got me with the Michael Scott angle. That just I want to see that more than anything in life right now. I need that to actually happen for reals.
I think the McBride one of that said I think would be hilarious.
That definitely would be, but Michael Scott roasting all these wrestlers in character, in ring, and then probably murdering him would be just absolutely delicious. Stretch takes it this.
I guess next time I just have to find a way to kiss Zach's ass, because every time Eli wins, he like kisses Zach's ass, and that's not what I'm doing. So
Well, you
Roast!
you did a good job this week by finally coming up with your own answer for once.
Yeah.
So if you can, think for yourself for once.
We might have to cut this segment out, man.
I mean, he started it.
Yeah. Oh, this is good. No, I like it. That's why I like this segment. Part of the battle is knowing your audience.
I think next week I'm just gonna put a bunch of answers in a hat and just pick one out. I have a better chance at that point. So, what movie can I find that Zach really likes? So I'm gonna have to find a Disney cartoon and find the person that had the voice in it.
I mean, if you put 2 thoughts in that hat, it's 2 more than you've had all week. So.
Oh!
Damn! What's going on here?
I don't know what that has to do with anything. I have more thoughts than you for sure. So
I got
don't know
half the brain that you do.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what you
What's
sound
going on
like.
here? All right, next.
Oh, this is amazing. Now, let's keep it going. More.
Yeah, let me go get my popcorn.
All right, let's go over then to the Wednesday War wrap-up for the shows that aired on, I believe it was the 23rd.
You are correct.
There's some 2 solid shows. I think let's start off with some AEW love. Who wants to talk about the show first?
I'll go first. Started off with Miro and Kip teaming up versus Janela and Kiss. Miro looked decent, but for me, Kip was botching a lot. He kind of looked sloppy.
Yeah, a lot of botches in that match.
Bottom line, Rusev's garbage. Enough said.
And Sonny Kiss is really good.
Yeah, so I thought Miro looked pretty promising, but how far can they go with him and Kip together? He's already proven that he kind of looks better than Kip. So I don't know where they're going to go with that angle. Janela and Kiss, I mean, why would you have them? They've got some momentum going.
They're terrible.
Sonny's good in the ring. They're sort of
how
becoming
many cartwheel backflips and scissor kicks can you get in one match?
Hey, man, quit talking about your boyfriend like that.
That does happen a lot in that person's matches.
It does, yes.
I'm okay with it.
Next up, Hangman and Evil Uno. Kind of forgettable for me.
Kenny's back in the booth.
Towards the end, we had the Bucks smashing Tony's phone and just throwing him some money for it.
Yep.
They're just in the business of wrecking shit, paying for it, and then leaving. Like, just take our money. Like, we don't care.
Yeah, I have a note here that says Young Bucks as heels forever, and then I drew a heart with an arrow through it, which then has the YB plus H for heels. So
yeah, so that was cool. I did feel like it took away from the end of the match a little bit. Like, I mean, as exciting as a Hangman and Evil Uno match can be. Next up had Brody versus Orange for the TNT title. Pretty solid. Nothing really special to write home about. We kind of knew that Orange wasn't going to beat Brody.
Yep.
Book ended by Cody coming back with some dark hair. I think we were all pretty excited to see him back. I was kind of expecting him to be gone for like another month or so, honestly, because the way they made it seem like, Brody had destroyed him in 3 minutes. Like, he's out for so long. They didn't make it known that he was filming a TV project until recently. Like, they made it seem like he was going to be off TV for a while and a lot more people were going to get some opportunities, which I would have been fine with. But it was pretty good to see him back. And, a proposition for a dog collar match is it's a stipulation you really don't see that often. So I was excited about that.
It's just so Cody can bleed.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to bet with me that he's going to bleed in that match?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
sure
he said that in the most recent Dynamite that just happened. He's like, oh, this is gonna be a bloody match, like, oh, like gruesome, like, we know.
Here we go. But I do, like I said, my note for that was I love Dark Cody.
I do too. I like Dark Cody better than Blonde Cody for sure.
Yep.
Emo Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still think Brody's garbage. So I still can't stand him, and I don't want to see him. I just don't like him. It's just not there for me with him. So
That was a weird match though, because like the way it started, it looked like he just destroyed him. He couldn't even stand up, and then all of a sudden the match turned completely, in Orange Cassidy's favor. We all knew he wasn't going to win, but I thought it was a decent match.
Yeah. sort of had a touch of, MJF and Jericho talking about how they actually respect each other and all of this.
Great.
It's making me think more and more that MJF's going to infiltrate the inner circle and splinter it somehow. Like, because I feel like he's sort of gaining the trust of Jericho and saying like, oh, I actually respect you. Like, we've had our problems in the past and gone to war over words, but I actually respect you and have all of this love for you and all that.
They're teasing us though. Imagine those two together, man, on the mic and.
No. A debate between those two would be great. And then I just wrote down a couple small notes. I'm not going to go over everything. I like the idea. FTR's 20-minute brush with greatness.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to see where they go with it. The women's tag was okay, just really short. And then Moxley versus Kingston. We all knew Kingston wasn't going to win because it was kind of hobbled together match with Lance Archer getting COVID and everything. I like Eddie Kingston, but we all know he wasn't going to win, and having him pass out is a good way of making him look strong in a loss.
Yeah, which is the AEW NXT way. Every time I see him, I like Kingston more. At first, the first time I saw him, like, who's this Joker? I'm like, not interested. But now I'm always looking forward to when he pops up on the show.
I like him on the mic, on the ring. I'm still like, it's still happening. I will reiterate that. Even though I didn't have to see him, Lance Archer is a piece of shit. So,
that spear cell by Darby, though, at the end, where Ricky Starks just comes in and barrels through him and Darby flips the cell, that was pretty impressive for me.
I don't like the Rosa Sheeta storyline. I don't like it. So, I don't like them putting them in a tag team. I don't like that. So, I'm still not interested. I do like Thunder Rosa, but I'm not interested in that storyline at all right now.
Yeah, there's definitely a rematch coming down the road for the two of them too, but at what cost to build towards it?
Do you think that when the Young Bucks pay a fine, it's just the Young Bucks money?
I would hope so.
Yeah, their Monopoly money they just throw.
Yes.
It's like, how do they even? Is that taxable? Like, is that considered a donation to AEW or
write off?
Yeah, it's a tax write-off. The other thing I really that I enjoyed was the confirmation that is officially called the Orange Punch.
Yes,
yeah.
We did get confirmation of that.
Yep.
So it's not the Superman punch anymore; it's the Orange Punch. So that's
100%.
Good.
So that made me very happy.
The best friends were funny too. They said something about FTR and their red panties.
Yeah.
And Chuck Taylor called them weenies, if I'm not mistaken. I think he called them weenies.
That's like the equivalent of like somebody cursing at somebody. It's like Chuck Taylor. If Chuck Taylor calls you a weenie, you're like, oh shit! Like what? Yeah.
So I enjoyed them. I didn't like them at first, and I love the best friends now. So like they're very entertaining to me. So we can throw it over to NXT.
NXT will start off with the Attack of the Jobbers. I mean, the Women's Battle Royale.
Yes.
A lot of faces I didn't recognize in there.
Yeah.
Well, some of them were in a tag team match the week before, just so we could know who they are. If I have to see Casey Canizaro be Kofi Kingston anymore, I'm so tired of that. Oh my God, she weighs 85 pounds. She can do Kofi Kingston shit. So what? I don't care. So I don't want to see that anymore. We see it in the Royal Rumble with Kofi every year. Why do we have to see it in an NXT thing now?
It's fine. They did it.
And Naomi does it now too.
Like half a dozen times. So
yeah.
We got. I mean, me and Zach. I'm assuming all of us got. Well, I wanted Candice to win.
Candice wins. Let this be the start of the era of Gargano.
So, and her taking Tegan Nox out. Oh well. So.
Yeah, I mean. Sucks for Tegan Nox. I know, well, you're not the biggest fan, but still, you don't want to see someone get back from an injury just to get right back into it.
That's the third torn ACL that she suffered in like 2.5 years. Like,
jeez.
Maybe it's just this is not the business for her. Maybe there's some other wrestling adjacent job she can have.
Right.
The tag team match was interesting, where they put Roddy and Birch together, and they were fighting for.
Yeah, I have Roddy versus Nobody Cares on that.
I didn't particularly like it, but the fact that they framed it as an idea that Fandango pitched to William Regal makes sense. Like,
that promo was good. Promo was good.
Fandango's got such a warped and twisted and stupid mind. Like the fact that he comes up with this as a way to determine his number one contenders, I'm like, okay, I like that concept.
Yes, and then that just makes me want the Fashion Files to come back.
Mm.
just seeing him just come up with these weird ideas and be kind of in character, it's just like, we need
So-
more of that.
The only person that has been on the show every week is Austin Theory. He doesn't win, but he's on the show every week.
Yeah, he hasn't won a match since he's been back. I don't
making
think.
Jobber to
somebody
the stars.
making somebody else look good because that guy can wrestle and the guy has charisma, and I don't know who he pissed off. So because he's being punished on some level for something, but I want to see more of him. Like, he really is, like, you know, I don't want to leak into recent stuff with like the but like he's I think there's definitely something there with him. He just pissed somebody off and he's getting punished.
Well, I wanted to see him stay with Seth Rollins. I thought that was a great combination.
Well, I think the problem was they said he was not doing good. Like, I don't know if it was mentally or whatever. He wasn't doing good on the main roster. Like, they said he was, like, I don't know if it was backstage or he was not comfortable there, but supposedly there was some stuff going on where he didn't feel like he belonged up there or something. I think they forced him up, and then I don't know if it worked for him. So, like, that's why he's back down, and that's fine. Maybe he needed more seasoning. I mean, he's done fine since he can. Like I said, he's got a lot more charisma than most of the guys in the mid card on that show do right now. So,
and plus he's only 22. Like, he has nothing but growth ahead of him.
Yeah.
Right.
I wrote Ridge Holland as garbage down because I don't like him. So, Jay, where are you at with him?
I don't really care for him right now.
Yeah, I don't care.
Me, but as of right now, no.
The only other note I have is that Ciampa murders yet another sacrifice to him. So
I thought Atlas held his own all right during the match.
Yeah, for like 3 or 4 minutes, and then it just turns into him just getting sent to the hospital.
We don't really know what they're doing with Ciampa.
No,
I don't really know what they're doing with him. Like,
and there's no
where are they going
storyline
with him?
They need to figure it out, though. That's for sure.
Yeah.
The gauntlet match was awesome. So
yeah, and I enjoyed it too. I was just upset that somebody had to be eliminated first, and it sucks that it was Kushida after how the past couple of weeks they build him up to be so strong and he's so aggressive, taking out Velveteen and all of this. He's showing this new aggressive side, and then boom, you're out first. Like, I get it. Yeah. He probably was the logical choice for the first person to be out there. But
Thatcher could have went out. Thatcher could have went out first too.
But but if you're trying to like rebuild his image and make him look strong for once, not just the happy, smiling foreign wrestler who's good at wrestling gimmick, like
then Thick Boy could have went out first. At that point.
like come on, like let him do his thing. Don't just punk him out on the first elimination.
Me and Zach,
some cool spots. The first three guys when they're in there, I thought there's some cool spots.
Me and Zach got to the point when it was down to 3 where we're just like, no Thatcher.
Yep.
Come on, no Thatcher.
No Thatcher.
Zach's like, I'm scared, Matt. He's like, I'm scared, Wally. And I'm like, we like gave a high five, I think, when he got eliminated, because then it was down to 2 guys. I know Eli likes O'Reilly. I may like O'Reilly better than some of you guys, so it was a win-win for me. I really would have been okay if Grimes would have won, because Grimes is fabulous.
Yes,
Grimes is one of my favorite characters that's newer on that show. Like, if you take Adam Cole and the guys I've already liked for a long off, Grimes is my favorite guy on that show. Yeah, maybe they are rewarding O'Reilly for being there for so long and being a tag team wrestler for so long. We're going to finally get to see that he's fine on his own.
It's not like, like you said, like his ceiling isn't a tag team wrestler. Like, he was the Ring of Honor world champion on, I think, 2 or 3 different occasions, and like put on some fantastic matches and great promos. Like, yes, he's great at tag team wrestling, and that's the mold he fits right now and he excels in. But if they give him a chance to shine, I think there's real potential.
And when you're in the Undisputed Era, if Adam Cole's in there, you're always going to take a back seat because he's the best guy on the mic. The other guys are good on the mic. He's just great. So you're going to take a back seat to somebody. So we may be getting towards O'Reilly's chance to have a mic and be the guy and stuff. I'm voting for NXT. I think the main event was really good.
Same reason.
And Candace winning the Battle Royal too. I'm voting for NXT.
Yeah. I went NXT as well. It was honestly probably AEW was going to take it until the main event, and then NXT won it for me there.
NXT as well for me.
J-Bone?
It was close, but I'm going with NXT. Like you said, I think the main event was probably the best match of the night, so
Yep.
I'm going with NXT.
All
They
right.
were both good shows.
Yeah, they were.
Both like this. AEW has rebounded from their getting clean swept like without a question every week. Like this is a more like a gentleman's sweep this week because the shows were good. We just have to pick one. But AEW's kind of climbed out. I still think AEW's problem is we're not seeing Kenny and we're not seeing the Young Bucks. We're seeing very slow burns on the storylines with them. And I mean, Cody's back, fine, but like, I don't know if those guys are in quarantine or what's going on with them, but it's just weird to not really see them doing anything right now. Like, I don't understand why we're just seeing short snippets of Omega and the Bucks right now. Like, you need those guys on your show. Okay, if they're not on one week, fine. But then one of them should be on the next week. We've had a couple weeks here where we've had short promos with the Bucks and Kenny sitting at the desk talking and then leaving.
And no Big Swole.
Yes.
That's a travesty right there.
That's automatic loss for AEW when there's no Big Swole. It's ridiculous. All right, it's another. Okay, yeah, I agree with Wally. It is definitely a gentleman's sweep. I could have seen either of you voting for AEW, and I wouldn't have been like, "You're wrong." It would be like, I can see it. But so it definitely was a lot closer this week than it had been in the past. So normally this is the part where we'd hand it over to Stretch for some prognosticating, but we're actually going to be taking part in that this week in the sense that we are talking about TakeOver 31. Crisp fiver to the winner from all the losers. You guys know the rules. As of the recording, we have only 5 matches. Hopefully, they'll sneak one more in here. Wally, you're going to be the official tracker of.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm writing stuff down right now.
Okay. So I will go slowly. So we'll start off with we'll do Escobar versus Swerve for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. I guess I'll go first on this one. I'm gonna go Swerve. For this card. Instead of really thinking about it, I just went with my heart.
Yeah,
So, Swerve on this one.
I agree. I feel like it's Swerve's match to lose. Honestly, I feel like they want to probably put Phantasma a little bit higher up on the chain. Maybe have him go for the North American title, or maybe even down the line the world title. I feel like he's reached all that he can do with the Cruiserweight title, and like Swerve is so damn crisp in the ring. Like it'd be a travesty to not give him the title at this point. He's worked hard for it.
I'm taking Swerve. I'm taking Swerve. I think it's time for them to put the belt on him.
Yep.
He's lost a couple of matches, like one with the loaded mask, and like there's been shenanigans. So another shenanigan match. I don't know if they're going to do more shenanigans again.
That's what I wrote down here. That's why I picked Escobar. It was a tough choice, but I went with Escobar.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a solid match, but I think I just put down there's going to be some shenanigans and some interference, and Escobar's going to win somehow.
I could see that. I mean, I think we're all hoping that Swerve wins, but I could definitely see another dusty finish.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have excuse me. We have Kushida versus Velveteen Dream. Stretch, you want to predict first on this one?
It was kind of murky for me. I thought it would initially be Kushida, running away with this. And, I mean, they'll have a great match, but Kushida defiantly winning. Based on how he was booked in the Eliminator match, it made me think otherwise. But I'm going to have to go with Kushida on this one, with purely for the fact of they're trying to build him up. And Wally kind of referenced it with Austin Theory based off of actions that he has sort of been publicized for recently, and Dream has been in the public eye for as well. I feel like they're trying to punish these guys because of that. So I feel like Dream's going to have a high-profile loss to Kushida here, sort of as his quote-unquote punishment.
All right. J-Bone?
I like Kushida. I think he's going to get a push towards the Cruiserweight title here soon, so I like Kushida.
I actually went Dream on this one. I get he's being punished, but at the same time, he kind of needs to be fed a win to be relevant to punish. So they can give him a high profile win and then just go back to him just being relegated to the lower mid card again. So gonna go Dream.
I'll go with Kushida also. For the reasons that mostly for what Stretch said. So that's what I'm thinking too.
All right, next up we have Io Shirai versus Candice for the NXT Women's Championship. J-Bone.
I think the outcome of Priest and Gargano in this one, either they're both going to win or they're both going to lose.
Yes.
And I picked Hero here, so I don't think Candice is going to win. Just my opinion.
Okay.
I'm taking Candice.
As am I.
Candice for me as well.
And then I take it we have 3 Garganos and 1 Priest.
Who is the one Priest, though?
I'm going to say J-Bone on that one. Because, I really do think it's
Wow, I
kind
got tons of different ones of you guys here.
You would be. You didn't let me finish. I said, who do you think is the one Priest? Because I actually picked Priest as well.
Okay. Well, I just thought, because to me, I almost,
Sorry, go ahead.
No, if Candice wins, I really think Gargano's going to win too. I can feel it.
Purely for the fact that I want to be different as well and sort of not pick similar, but also because I think that Candice is going to win and then Johnny's going to lose, and he'll eventually get the title from Priest, but I feel like it's just too soon. Yes, we all want to see Gargano win, but it's just going to make Priest look so weak. If you have him lose in his first major pay-per-view defense, and they could find a way to work it into the storyline, maybe Tegan distracts Johnny or something. Something's going to factor in. I feel like this is the match where we're going to have a screwy finish here. Something that's going to lead to Gargano getting screwed, quote unquote.
Fair points. My thing with Priest specifically, though, is sure, it's a little too soon for him to lose, but at the same time, he's done jack shit with this belt since he's won it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Nothing worth that's remarkable. Him losing it is almost it's business as normal because who has this belt? Priest is never around to show it. So
you forgot he had wonderful title defenses against Timothy Thatcher and Austin Theory.
Again.
I'm picking Johnny. I'm going with my heart. I'm picking Johnny for this one because I want this to be Johnny and Candice's night. So I want to see them for 1 month, even if I just see them for 1 month with both belts. If this was on the main roster, there's no chance. But this is NXT. They did do the Undisputed Prophecy, so they are capable of doing stuff like this, even if it's for short periods of time. I do agree with Zach that Priest doesn't really need the belt because it does not really matter. That he's almost like a bootleg Orange Cassidy because he doesn't care, really, that he has the belt or whether he has it or not. It doesn't matter. We also... somewhere we're going to see Dexter Lumis, so potentially he could get involved in this match too. So I don't know. This would be the match where some shenanigans could happen and we may not get a clean finish. So I'm with Zach. If Candice, whatever match is first out of these two, Johnny's probably going to be first because usually they save the women's match till fourth. So we'll probably know because I think if one wins, the other's winning, and vice versa. And if one loses, the other's losing. So,
all right, then we got Finn Balor versus O'Reilly for the NXT Championship.
Sure,
I'm picking. I'm picking Finn, but I do think Adam Cole is going to screw O'Reilly. I think he's going to help Finn win, and Zach also does.
Yep.
So
Finn's taking this. They're not, again, my same logic with Priest. They're not going to
really here. They're definitely, this would be with somebody like Finn, this would be too early.
I agree with you on this one.
Plus with the promo that just aired with O'Reilly this past NXT, they made him look ultra uber babyface, super sympathetic, we can get behind this guy. He's put in so much work, in the indie scene. Now is his time.
I thought he was dying of cancer or something.
Right. He is for sure the babyface in this match, and like Wally said, that leaves the door open for somebody to come in from a faction he thinks is trustworthy, which has sort of sown dissension, and screw him, stab him in the back. So,
well, they need to do something because this is a weak card for me. I think this is a pretty weak pay-per-view.
Yeah, you're not. We
all thought there was going to be that tag match. We thought they were going to have the number one contender match tonight, and then figure out what the tag match
probably be Breezango against Undisputed. That's what we were thinking. So,
yeah, that's what
that didn't end up happening. So I guess that's being saved for an episode of NXT randomly.
But then,
it's not. And we have no Ciampa, and really, you have no Adam Cole on the card right now either. We're just assuming he's going to interfere.
So we talk about it's going to be him betraying O'Reilly, but then the other way I could see it is if O'Reilly ends up winning, like Cole comes out, they're all celebrating, and then O'Reilly turns.
Sort of like almost when Randy Orton won the title and
Evolution
turned on him. They're going to celebrate with him. Yeah, you did it. And then just beat his ass.
Yep. And then we'll see Cole on the main, maybe for one or two more shows on Wednesdays, and then he'll be up on the main roster after that. So out of Undisputed.
Everybody has at least one thing picked different, Zach. So
Okay,
there's
good.
no.
I was a little worried. So
Yeah, I got a couple of different ones.
When there's only 5 matches, you could have somebody pick the same thing. So, but me and you have at least one match picked different, Zach. So.
Yep.
So
right.
that's.
Then let's throw it over to J-Bone. J-Bone, what not prize can somebody not win that you won't ship?
A single Q-tip. Oh. And it is clean, no earwax.
DNA
good to know.
free. We could appreciate that. Of course, by the time it gets sent out, it might be a different story. Like, comment, subscribe, and J-Bone will think of you when he doesn't send you something. Do we have any parting thoughts from anybody? But I think this is a pretty good show.
The fact that we could potentially see Bo Dallas or Ember Moon at this takeover is intriguing to me, with all of this mystery person who's going to show up at the takeover.
One out of the two. One out of the two is intriguing to me. Only one out of the two. So I could give a shit if Ember Moon shows back up. So
although Wally's wife and myself all thought that at least the person that was piloting that motorcycle kind of looked like a woman, though.
And at the very end, when they let out a breath, like an exhale, it sounded like a woman.
Yep.
Real quick, we don't have to go into a lot of depth, like I said, but we can at least, the ladder match at the pay-per-view last weekend was fantastic. So that storytelling and booking with Sami Zayn in that match was some of the best stuff I've seen this year.
Right.
Yeah.
So
the handcuff through the ear,
that was brutal.
Yeah.
And the key in his pants, that was smart booking, smart writing. The pay-per-view itself wasn't terrible considering they had to pull people from the show. It was cool to see Sasha beat up Bayley because we're going to get those two in a Hell in a Cell, I think, now. And I don't know how anybody that likes wrestling probably would like to see Bayley and Sasha fight in Hell in a Cell at this point.
Yep.
So, and seeing Shawn Michaels super kick Randy Orton was special for me. So that was cool. I thought we were done with that feud. Apparently we're not. And Roman, I like Roman's tribal chief. I like the whole tribal chief thing. He's trying to get away from the yard and being the big dog. He's trying to come up with something different to get away from that. So I'm okay with this because of that. He's trying to not be that version of Roman. And I do think the Usos are going to join up with Roman down the road here.
I think it also kind of opens up a neat angle with anyone who would join that faction. It's basically if you can beat the chief, you can be the chief type of a thing. So even though they might work together as a faction, there still would be strife within the ranks as they're trying to kind of jockey for position.
And I was a fan of that wrestling match to bring Jey Uso. I know he's not the greatest, person, but to bring something different onto the table.
Right.
Like back in the day when Ricky Morton, was with the Rock and Roll Express, but he actually broke away from Robert Gibson to have a thing with Ric Flair for a couple months. I thought that was cool back in the day. So I kind of like when they do that stuff.
And we're 5 years too late for this, but it's still, if we could have gotten to see Roman, the Usos, and the Rock in the faction together, that would have been so badass.
Yeah.
Rikishi.
No, not Rikishi. Just he would have brought it down a notch probably. So seeing some guy put his fat ass in somebody's face, do the reverse whop.
Yeah.
Seeing somebody do the reverse whop is not appealing.
Well, especially nowadays, we social distance, wear face masks. You definitely don't want to see someone getting pink eye that way, let alone COVID. Rectally. Ugh. All right.
Oh, WWE actually put on an okay pay-per-view considering that they had to pull people from it. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible, but it was okay.
It's one of the better ones in a while.
During the COVID. So
yeah, definitely. All right, that will do it. We will be back next week. What's the topic coming up? I'm blanking on it. Is it? We're doing the tag teams?
Mm-hmm.
No.
No, that's week after.
I'm blanking too. Oh, we're gonna go back and watch
Takeover.
Takeover New
Oh,
Orleans.
yes, that's right. Yep. Take over New Orleans. So we got a little bit of homework to do. So we're all fresh on that.
We're gonna go back and watch that and go over it.
Mm-hmm. So that will be a fun one. I do love that pay-per-view. So as always, until next time, if life puts you in a pin, keep kicking out on that 2 count. See everybody later.
Deuces.